Good afternoon, everybody. I'm really excited to start the new project today. This is really geared towards second grade through fourth grade, but if you're younger, you can still do this. You might just need more help from an adult, or maybe there's parts of the project that you really don't do, and that's okay. Now, with this project today, we're going to be talking a little bit about another country. This country is known as Japan. So if you take a look at my phone here, let's see if I get this map. Here is a map of the world. All right, all the way, now you're kind of getting the backwards version of this, but over in here, we are in the country, obviously, of the United States of America. We're in the state of New York. This is us over here in the continent of North America. If we take a plane all the way, right, all the way, now you're kind of getting the backwards version of this, but over in here we are in the country, obviously, of the United States of America. We're in the state of New York. This is us over here in the continent of North America. If we take a plane all the way across to the very other side of the world here, that little mark in red, that is Japan. And notice how Japan is actually an island. It's completely surrounded by water. And with Alright, so if you had me in second grade, we learned all about Japan and their culture. We did a whole entire unit on them. But we talked about how they're an island and how it affects their way of life. And the country's way of life is their culture. That's the foods they eat, the clothing they wear, their language, their celebrations. Everything about their life is a part of their culture. And being that they're in another country on the other side of the world, of course, their culture is probably going to be different from ours. So that makes it really exciting to learn about different people in different places and to see how not everybody's the same. And that's okay, because the world would be super boring if everybody everywhere was exactly the same, blah, 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 right? Am I right? So anyway, in Japan, they actually don't speak English, they speak Japanese. They have a different writing than we do, and their writing actually looks like, to me, like art. It looks like little pictures. Okay. So here is some of the Japanese writing, just to kind of give you, so you can kind of see how it is. And these are actually called, they don't have words, they have characters is what they call it. And each character is a word in English and it represents something. So like right here, this word right there is love in Japanese. All right, so their writing is different. One Japanese word you might know is ni hao, which means hello in Japanese. You might have heard that. If you've ever watched the TV show Kailan when you were a kid, ni hao Kailan is hello Kailan. Other things, let me show you some other things in Chinese restaurants in America. Sometimes they have traditional Japanese, sometimes they're a little more Americanized. In Japan, they have like their rice fields. They're an island, so they have a lot of plentiful seafood. You might have heard of sushi, hibachi, but this is sushi is raw fish, and it's usually wrapped in seaweed or some type of seaweed roll. But they do eat very healthy, a lot of fish, a lot of rice, because they have a lot of that there. So this right here, these are some kimonos. Now kimonos aren't typically worn every day in Japan anymore. They used to be a lot. Now they're okay, so kimonos, the word kimono in English actually means to wear, but they're like a robe style type outfit that wraps around the body and is held in place with like a type of a fabric belt. Men and women both can wear them. Typically you'll see them wearing them to ceremonies now, like a wedding, that type of thing. You'll still see people on the streets wearing them, but typically that's more of a celebration type outfit. So the main thing we're going to be talking about today though is a Japanese type of art called origami. Now origami is the art of paper folding. The word ori actually means folding, and gami, that word, was changed from pronunciation from kami, which means paper. So that's where the word comes from. And this is an art that started in Japan. All right, so right here is a little origami fish. Now the purpose of origami is to transform a flat square sheet of paper into something more of a sculpture by using different folding techniques. Now there really is just a small number of folding techniques that the Japanese created, but you can take those small number of techniques and many different combinations to create lots of different origami sculptures and creatures. So we're going to be doing a simple origami fish. Basically, this is an angel fish. So let's get, and then after we create that origami fish, we are then going to put it into a little fish bowl. So we're gonna create a little fishbowl art with the origami fish inside of it. So let's get ready, get your supplies together. Yay, it's gonna be so fun. Okay, so some supplies you're gonna be needing, guys, today are going to be 2 paper plates. I have them already done, but you're gonna need 2 paper or styrofoam, any kind of disposable plate that you have around. You're also gonna need some colored construction paper, just like one color for your fish, whichever color that's gonna be. You're gonna need crayons. We're gonna need glue. You're also gonna need some colored construction paper, just like one color for your fish, whichever color that's gonna be. You're gonna need crayons. We're gonna need glue, scissors, a ruler, a pencil, some tape if you have it, if not the glue will be fine, a paintbrush, a cup of water, and some watercolor paint, which this is my watercolor paint, this is one of my good sets. And that's it. So get those supplies together and we're gonna go make art. So what I'm gonna do first is take my paper plate and one of the paper plates, poke a hole in the middle, and I'm gonna cut out the center. This is gonna go on top of the other plate. Basically where I'm cutting where you can see like an indentation, it might be easier to turn the plate over. I'll show you that. Yep, like that way, and just kind of cut on the indentation you see on the plate. So you'll have that center gone, and you can clean it up a little bit with your scissors if it's a little jagged looking. Okay, so now I'm going to take a white piece of paper and trace the other paper plate with a pencil. And then once I've traced that, I'm going to cut the circle out. Now I need that circle to be smaller so that it fits in the inside of the plate. So what I'm just going to do is take my pencil and just kind of draw a smaller circle inside the larger circle. Just see how small that one is? You know, just however you can make it. So you're kind of like tracing along the inside of the circle, just so that we can make it a little bit smaller, and then we're going to cut that out. So see how that now fits inside the plate real nicely. And this is going to be the background for our origami fish. It's going to be an underwater scene with the sand and the water and some seaweed. Now what I'm doing is just drawing the ground line for the sand. And make it like natural looking, so I'm not just doing a line straight across. I want it to look a little bit like layered sand. Then I can add any other details I want, like seaweed, maybe some seashells, maybe other sea creatures. Right now I'm putting in a rock, and then maybe even some coral. So whatever you choose to put into that underwater scene, you can go ahead and do that. Like I said, even other sea creatures. Okay, so now what I'm doing is going to color in some of the things that I put in the picture. Like right now I'm drawing some coral. This way, when I go to paint with my watercolor, I can just paint right over the crayon. Then I don't have like the color of the green seaweed mixing into the background of the water, and same thing with the coral, because we're using watercolor paint. So I want to color the seaweed in, anything else I might want to color in. Like other sea creatures, like say you drew an octopus, make sure you color that with the crayon. Alright, now that I color those details with crayons, I'm going to start watercolor painting over my background. So I obviously need to get my brush wet. Splish splash, give it a bath, everybody. Because if you don't give it a bath, the watercolor paint that we're using needs to be wet. It won't work. So just go in with whatever color you like for the water. I like to do blues, greens, and turquoise. Sometimes even purples I'll blend in there together. But when you change color, always splish splash and give your brush a bath. Remember? Splish splash, I was taking a bath. That's what you gotta do with those brushes, otherwise you're gonna ruin the colors. Now once that's finished, just set it aside to dry, and then you're gonna pull out the colored construction paper you're gonna use for your origami fish. Now we need to make it into a square. We're gonna do a 4-inch square. So take your ruler and make a mark where the 4 is, going down. And now I'm gonna take it the other way on the paper from the top and do another 4 inches that way. So one from the side and one from the top. Now I take my ruler and I'm gonna put it right under that line and trace it across, and then do the same thing on the other line, so then I'll have a 4-inch square. Because remember, squares have 4 evenly amount of sides. And now I'm gonna cut that square right out. Okay, so now I'm gonna hold like a diamond in front of me and take the bottom corner and bring it all the way to the top corner and fold it. Make sure you rub your finger across it to get a really good crease and fold line. Now I'm gonna open that up, I'm gonna turn it around and go the other way from the bottom to the top. So now I have a fold in the other direction. Now I'm gonna open that up, so now it looks a little bit like a kite. Now I'm gonna turn the paper so it's like a square in front of me, and then I'm gonna take the bottom and fold it to the top again. Crease it really good every time, open it up. See all those lines? Now those lines and those folds we made are gonna help form this into a triangle. So I'm kind of like pressing on the sides and pushing them in, and then see what I'm doing with my fingers? That starts to form a triangle. Do the same thing from underneath. And then there you go, fold it down, crease it good. Now you've got a triangle shape. Now I'm gonna flip my triangle over to the back, and I'm gonna take the back part and bring it up to the top at a little bit of a diagonal, okay? Now I'm gonna take the top and bring it down the bottom over the last fold you just did at a little bit of a diagonal also. So now you've just created the fins. So when you turn the fish over, there you go, you've got a little angel fish. Okay, so now when I turn it over, it kind of can fall apart easily, so I'm just gonna take a little piece of tape and tape it down in the back. You could also just glue it down a little bit in the back. That kind of holds it together good. Now I'm gonna give the fish some eyes and some little details on it with some crayons. You could use oil pastels, you could use markers too. That would be fine. So just draw your little details, like an eyeball, maybe some gills. Now once that's finished, I'm gonna take my background and I'm gonna glue it into my plate. So just take some Elmer's glue, whatever glue you have handy, and just squirt it in that small circle in the middle, and then put your background right on top of it. Now I'm just gonna take my little origami fish, put some Elmer's glue on the back of that, and glue it to my background anywhere in the picture. Okay, once that's glued on, I'm gonna take my plastic wrap and bring it over the plate. Make sure you rip that off, and be careful because plastic wrap container can give you guys cuts. Now I'm gonna flip it over to the back of the plate, and I'm gonna tape this down because the plastic wrap doesn't stick good to the styrofoam plate. I'm just gonna tape it. You can also glue it, or if you pull enough of the plastic wrap, you can just have it stick to itself, but I'm just gonna tape it around. Now, just so you guys know, you can also add a lot more origami fish in there and other things you just cut out of paper. You don't have to limit to just what I did. All right, now I gotta get that top piece on. See how I flipped it around? And then I'm just gonna take Elmer's glue, put it on the inside of the plate, on the all around the edge, and then you're gonna glue it down over the other plate. So it creates like a little three-dimensional illusion, like a cover for the fishbowl. It makes it pop out. Also looks a little like a shadow box frame. And there you go. You can obviously get super creative. You could even color the plate if you wanted to. Whatever other details you might want to add. We'll have fun and we'll see you next week, guys.